Hello lovely people, welcome or welcome back. Today I wanted to do another Neville Says from the Complete Reader from his first book, At Your Command, because sometimes when I feel like my head's about to explode, I'm like, okay, I think it's time to go back to the beginning and start again. So that's what we're doing today. Stick around. So for those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Hedley Derenzie. I am a qualified life coach and author, and I'm super passionate about the amazing teachings of the law of assumption as originally taught by the great American mystic Neville Goddard. It is the stories that we tell that create our reality. So if you want to change any part of your reality, then you need to start by changing the story that you're holding in consciousness. And if you want to create the most amazing reality, then it does help to change the story in consciousness first, and that is where these teachings can help, and that is why I am here. If you would like support with changing any part of your reality, I am available for one-to-one coaching. I also have a free 21-day Set Yourself Up with the Ultimate Self-Concept course, which is the ultimate story we all want to be telling about ourselves. And all of those details are in the box below, or if you just want to stay connected, I am on Instagram. You'll find that in the box below as well, or at my website, youaretheone.com.au. Okay, let's get into it. So today I am doing another quote from The Complete Reader and Neville's first book in The Complete Reader, At Your Command. And the reason is that I have been listening to his lectures, like there's 12 volumes and there's like 40 lectures in each volume, and I'm getting way into it and it's like really getting dense, and I was like, oh, whoa, and it felt like my head was starting to explode, and I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna go back to like The Complete Reader and go back to the beginning and just like reorient myself, which is what we often need to do from time to time, because sometimes, I mean, some of these teachings, they're profound. You know, Neville has left us with an incredible legacy. These teachings are phenomenal, and they really do give us the clues to how to play the game of life and kind of the instruction manual, really. So I just, you know, I haven't read anything else in the last year and a half. I have only listened and studied Neville, and that's on a daily basis. And so I've come back to The Complete Reader, At Your Command, and just reading it from the beginning again, I just am feeling myself breathing a sigh of relief. I've already read it like 2 or 3 times and listened to it on Audible, like really getting it into my conscious awareness, and I'm also picking up new things again. It's just phenomenal the way these teachings work. Like there's layers to them, and I guess I can just say stick with this, like just keep going even when it feels like it's so confusing and it's like blowing your mind. That's great, that's awesome. We need our minds blown, especially if we've been conditioned into believing that reality is outside of us. The ultimate setup. Okay, so today's quote is taken from At Your Command in The Complete Reader. And I really love this quote because I read it and I just went boom, like it just kind of, you know, gave me a lot of insight, and I want to share that with you today. So the quote is, if you, the reader, will give up all of your former beliefs in a God apart from yourself and claim God as your awareness of being, you will transform your world with the realization that I and my Father are one. Now, I want to explain what this means because I didn't get it the first time I read it, and I had a lot of negative associations with religious talks and phrases, and one of them being I and my Father are one. Even just the word father, if you have any unfavorable experiences with your father, that will trigger those experiences. So as I've done a lot of work on my relationship with my dad and my dad as a person, as a character in my movie, I have since come back and read this phrase differently, and I can now see this phrase differently, and it makes a whole load of more sense, and I just wanted to share that. So going back to the basics, consciousness is the creator of reality. You are God, meaning you are consciousness. You, that is who you are at your like infinite core level. Like you are consciousness, your energy. You are here having a physical experience, but who you are, the source of who you are, is consciousness. So everything comes from consciousness. Everything comes from God, meaning whatever you're holding in consciousness is what's going to get pushed out and reflected back in your reality. Neville will say this is all a dream and we have forgotten that we are the dreamers. And really, when you get to this level of thinking, everything feels like a dream, and therefore it's malleable. Reality is not set in stone. Facts are not set in stone. Events are not set in stone. This is just a dream, and we are the dreamers, having forgotten that we are the dreamers. And of course, that is the perfect setup. We had to set that up to forget, because otherwise there's no adventure, there's no fun. We just would have known that we're God and we can have anything and do anything that we want, and we're infinite and eternal, and we're, you know, Our power is phenomenal. And, you know, really, where's the fun in that? The fun is when we get to remember who we are, overcome the challenges we've set up, and feel like the heroes of our own journey, which is what we are all doing. We are all the heroes. We are the superstars of our movie, and we are all on our own hero's journey to remember and awaken back into the gods that we already are, have always been, and will always be. And the process of life is simply God being born into human being, into physicality, and then becoming God in physical form. So marrying the impossible and the possible together. That's the awakening process, and we're all on it to various degrees, but that's the game. When you know how to play the game, then it becomes fun. There's a bit more to this quote. So when he says, I and my Father are one, Father means consciousness. So God is consciousness. So I and my consciousness are one. Now, the quote actually goes on to say, I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater than I. And that in itself can be triggering, again, if you've had any negative associations with Father. If you've had a difficult relationship with your father, that can really bring up a lot, and you can really push that statement aside and be like, I can't deal with that because, you know, my father spent his whole life berating me, or whatever the story is, or dominating. So to say that I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater, whew. If you haven't done the revision on your relationship with your father, that will be a block to the truth and the substance to this teaching. So I and my Father are one. I and my consciousness are one. I am consciousness. Consciousness is who I am, and all things is caused by consciousness. So my reality is a reflection of my consciousness. My consciousness is creating my reality. The stories and assumptions that I'm holding in consciousness is what is getting pushed out and reflected back on the screen of my mind. Your mind is your projector, and your reality is the movie that you are experiencing in 3D. So when you go to the movies and you're like watching it on the big screen, just imagine that screen surrounding you in this 3D, like 360 experience, like an IMAX. That's kind of like reality. That's what we're in the movie. We're not watching it. I mean, we're watching it from being in the movie. That's what reality is. And that's where it can be a bit of a mind bender. So I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater. So I am my consciousness, but my consciousness is greater. And the reason that consciousness is greater is because consciousness is the cause of reality. Consciousness is the cause of this physical experience. So I and my consciousness are one. We are the same thing. However, consciousness is greater. And the brilliance of this teaching, the substance in this teaching, is that if you have a problem, you go to your Father, you go to your consciousness, you go in, because that's the cause of it. You don't go out. And most of us have been conditioned to see a problem and immediately want to reach out into reality and fix it. Have the conversation with them, write the letter to them, do whatever it is that takes reality to change into what we want it to be, not realizing that reality is just a reflection. It's like going up and banging on the mirror and saying, hey, I don't like the way you did your makeup today. Like, you got to go, well, in that case, you got to go to yourself and redo it. But in terms of reality, you've got to go in and do the work within so that reality can then reflect that back. It is all done in consciousness. Consciousness is your playroom. I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater. So if you have any problem or anything, your solution is to go to your Father. I'm not sure I'm okay with that, but especially because I have been working on revising my beautiful, wonderful father and some of the difficulties that he had in life that I set up, of course, to have the challenges that I've had in my life. So I've been able to go back and revise a lot of that stuff, but I do find that statement still a little bit triggering. I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater. So the way I handle that is I go, I and my consciousness are one. I and my imagination are one, but my imagination is greater. So I know that if I have a problem, if I have a question, if I have an issue, if I have a challenge, I just go into consciousness. And again, that takes daily practice, because that is not the way I was taught. It was not the way I was brought up. I'm assuming it's the same for you. I don't want to assume that, but if that is the same for you, then you may find yourself like wanting to, like, it just takes practice and repetition to remember to go in rather than going out. There is nothing that you can do out there that is going to have the impact that you will have in consciousness. You might change a few things in reality, but it's probably not going to be sustainable, or it's going to feel like an uphill battle. So all of the work we do in consciousness. If there's anything that we need revising, we do it in consciousness. I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater. I and my imagination is one, but my imagination is greater. You and your imagination is one. You are the same thing. You are an expression of your imagination, but your imagination is greater than your physical expression. So if you have a physical ailment, if your body is sick in some way, go into consciousness, work it into consciousness, work out why you created that challenge in the first place without blame or guilt, and then recreate the story, revise anything, recreate it, align to the state of consciousness that you want to experience. Use your imagination, engage whatever technique you need to do to create the experience, the state of consciousness that you want to experience in your physical 3D reality. That's the game. That's how this works. And that is the meaning of that wonderful, possibly triggering quote. And I am just so glad that I've come back to the beginning and read the book from the beginning all over again, because it now has taken on a whole new form, and I'm probably on my 4th or 5th reading. I've lost count. Please remember, you are the creators of your reality. You are the superstar of your show. You are the producer, the writer, the director, and the actor in your movie. What you assume to be true will be so. So assume the best for you and assume the best for everyone in your movie too, and you will have an amazing life. This is my wish for you. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and comment. If you would like to subscribe to my channel, I would love to have you, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks. Bye.